In this episode, you'll get a breakdown of the principle and quote, "The spirit was always there, it just needed to be hidden," and how deep illusion prepares you for ultimate realization. Welcome to Energy Alignment for Entrepreneurs, the podcast helping entrepreneurs be free from anxiety, stress, and tension through balancing emotions and consciousness expansion. Here's 3 things you'll learn today. Number 1, why the deep illusion of being just the vessel was necessary. Number 2, how the spirit is the awareness observing it all. And number 3, the importance of the spiritual life being integrated into your active daily life. Now, begin with the quote. Let's look at what is packed within the quote. The spirit was always there, it just needed to be hidden. If the spirit was always there, why would it need to be hidden? That's the question that I come to when I read such a line. And for me, why it needs to be hidden is because you're being prepared through this rigorous process of having yourself crack open. When I use the word yourself, I'm referring to your identity, or who you, in other words, think yourself to be. You need to have that cracked open. If you ever heard of the concept of a glass box, let's say you're underwater, then maybe it's hard to break glass, but in daily life, glass can be quite a fragile thing. And that's the glass box, living and thinking that you are just the body. Now, I don't align too much with non-dual buffoonery because what I'm saying here is that you are not the body, but you are also the body. And if the spirit was always there, it had to be hidden. Why? Well, because you cannot. There's one thing, and that is stumbling upon information and blindly repeating that information. That's what school teaches you to do. School teaches you to use your memory to pack information into your brain and then to repeat it on a test or a quiz or something to prove that you have stored that information in your memory bank. Now, a realization is not to be confused with the way that the brain stores information in its memory, because your memory actually shapes your sense of self, and that is the illusion, all while being very real, because non-dual buffoonery is kind of acting as if you don't feel pain, and you do, right? If you go fall flat face first on the pavement, you feel pain. So your sense of self is very real, and you are the body. But what I'm saying is there's a realization that can be had that you start to see that you are also much more. The main component of you having your spirit hidden and thinking yourself to be only this body is thought. And this is where things get a little interesting or scientific. But if you look at your identity, now don't try to think about what I'm saying, just listen to what I'm saying. You don't have to believe what I'm saying. I'm saying just listen to the words, the tone, the pacing, the cadence, everything that is implied, the way that I'm expressing. The point really is that you can notice how thought accumulates, and you can see that without memory, it's quite impossible to think. Without prior knowledge and experience, it's quite impossible to think. So your thinking brain is a culmination of your past knowledge, your past experience, and knowledge and experience usually forms your memory. So you go through the world really thinking a lot, right? And seeing the world through the lens of insert your full name, insert your past knowledge, experience, and your memory. So there's a few things here. Number 1 is I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm not saying that's bad. It's totally necessary. There's nothing wrong with being who you are. being a spirit in a body, finding yourself in this world, on this realm. The bigger picture is realizing what was always there. What usually happens when you begin to realize that you're more than you're thinking is you have these slight cracks. That's why we started with the breaking of the glass box. You have slight cracks throughout your life that show you you're not just who you think yourself to be. Often it happens through extreme circumstances, whether it be a near death experience, or a car crash, or a heartbreak, being betrayed, where you have your entire worldview start to be shattered, right? Because you have your knowledge, your experience, your memory. Then you get super attached, super zoomed in to this illusion that you are just your full name and everything that you're attached to. And when your heart breaks, when your body breaks, when you have a near death experience, for me, what helped was psilocybin and a lot of meditation and stretching. So, time where I could sift through the noise of my identity. Basically, that's what psilocybin and meditation and stretching, whether you do them separate, combined, meditation, stretching, no psilocybin, I'm not encouraging the use of psilocybin. I am sharing my story in my relationship to how it helped me sift through my own nonsense and basically enhanced my sensitivity to my own mental chatter, which is composed of thought, and thought is built from knowledge, memory, and experience. And you begin to make sense of the way that your identity projects onto the world. And you start to unravel it. You start to subtract and get to the root of what you actually are, which is the spirit. You're the body. I'm not saying you're not, but you're also the spirit. And the thing is, most people, a lot of people, are so busy with their own projecting and thinking that they don't stumble upon the truth, which is that there is something much grander than thought, and that formless nature, that essence beneath thought, which powers the spirit, which really runs this world, you can be guided by that. I can't tell you exactly what your path is going to be. That's not my duty nor my job. My story is to share the truth in relationship to giving you the structures and the foundations so that you can walk your own path. Because I would be foolish and ignorant to act as if your path is exactly my path. So that is why I very much tend to stray away from telling you practically, do this, do that, and do that. But on the same level, you'll hear me continuously repeat simple foundations to letting your spirit awaken. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, let's hop into the 3 things you'll learn today. Number 1, why the deep illusion of being just the vessel was necessary. It's kind of like, let's say, I don't know how much this is going to hit home, so I'll explain the metaphor in multiple ways. But for me, I played a lot of Pokemon when I was a kid. And if you've played Pokemon, you know that those Pokemon would evolve, right? You would have Pikachu, and then it would get into, I don't even remember, maybe a bigger, more powerful Pikachu. That's basically my point. Just as you watch a sapling go from a little seed, a sapling, then a bigger tree. The nature of life is change. When you evolve, if you will, let's look at the Pokemon example, you have to be ready to evolve, right? Like your Pokemon doesn't evolve until it reaches a certain level with specific moves or whatever. What I'm saying here is that you cannot come into contact with the spirit until you are ready. And what determines you being ready is not something I could say, check this box, check this box, check this box, because your path is not going to be the exact same as mine. Now, structurally, the deep illusion of being just the vessel is needed because if you aren't ready Another metaphor that I like is if you look at those big electrical areas where they're all fenced in and you kind of have the infrastructure which powers the grid. You can't use that electricity to plug in a common 60-watt bulb. It would break the bulb. It's too much electricity. That's why it's fenced off. That's why specific educated men or women who have the knowledge are the ones who maintain those areas, right? Because it's dangerous. Too much voltage can fry you. And that's the danger in psilocybin. Because if you are not ready for the voltage, and don't worry though, you'll know. How do I put it? I would say don't go and just do psilocybin because you are chasing some form of enlightenment, some form of spiritual development. You do psilocybin if you are feeling the pull and it has naturally entered your life. Like you can't like try to order it off the dark web. It has to be around you in a natural way that you didn't force. You didn't reach out to 100 people trying to get access to it. It can't work like that. That's way too much human effort. When your spirit is meant to expand, when you are meant to have your voltage increased and learn and realize that you're so much more than this body and this identity, it cannot be forced out of an egotistical desire to be greater, better, or wiser than other people. That is nonsense. So be very honest, be as aware as you possibly can in relationship to your own desires. Like, why do you do what you do? Are you just meditating so that you can be better than someone? Because you're not going to get anything out of a meditation with that essence at its foundation. It won't. It won't um, allow for the alchemy within your cells and atoms to work. And now, number two, how the spirit is the awareness observing it all. This may not be the easiest thing for me to put into words, but it's a great challenge. And the spirit is the awareness observing it all. How does that work? Because it feels very real, right? If you stub your toe, you feel the pain in your body. But the question is, can you have like that moment where you laugh at yourself feeling the pain, right? I think maybe that would be one of the simplest ways to share like a practical example of how I feel my spirit. So I'll get into a massive moment of just quick, fast pain or frustration. I'll feel my nervous system explode like a volcano. And then all simultaneously, I giggle or I laugh or I just realize, oh man, look at that one. You know, there I go again. And that's the nature of, I wouldn't dare say I'm enlightened. That's just, the moment you think you have something, you're going to lose it. And that's why I wouldn't dare say, I'm this, I'm that. Like, this real journey is about having a humility which never leaves you, because the way that the spirit works is once you think you know, you lose. That is a form of energy which is, um, the spirit doesn't mesh well with that form of egotistical ignorance and arrogance. The spirit meshes well when you realize that you have a choice every day, every moment, and you are honest about the results of your choices. And you don't overthink about your choices. You learn to let go because you're surely going to have to make thousands and thousands of mistakes to begin to notice that you can change, that you are learning. And a lot of letting the spirit kind of expand and letting awareness be the bigger proponent in your life. It's about not rushing. It's about relinquishing all of the things which keep you in a constant state of scarcity, lack, or not having. For example, I've been working in the entrepreneurial field ever since 2018. So about 7, 8 years. And ultimately, that's created a lot of desire in my life, right? People become entrepreneurs to create financial freedom. So you can basically be your own boss, have a flourishing business that you love, enjoy, that doesn't suffocate you. Some things in life take patience. I'm not saying everything has to take a long time. I'm saying you have to know what's worthwhile. You have to know what you care about. And that's kind of how you use the spirit's awareness. That's how you kind of tap into your intuition because you're living a life of meaning. And even if you fail for years, you don't get what you desire for years, you know that you're going to keep doing what feels right to you. And then it starts to get to a place where you do what you do not for an outcome, not for a result, not because of desire, not because you're so obsessed with the things that you don't have that you're going to get through building a great business, but you do it because that's what you do. And I would say, as a 26-year-old man, that's been one of the hardest things in my life is figuring out, what do I actually want to do? And I would say to you, if you're wondering, like for yourself, you got to start with what disgusts you. You know, what's your anti role model? What's unacceptable to you? And then you can reverse engineer. And I would say keep the mentality of simplicity close to your heart. Don't try to, and this for me in the entrepreneurial endeavor, you come across so many shiny object things, and that's been one of the toughest things for me is really figuring out, all right, what is the mechanism that aligns with me for specific business. And now ultimately, I know I veered a little bit, but I think it's important to bridge the spirit, the intuition, the honesty with the simplicity of creating a free life practically. Um, Not every person is going to be an entrepreneur on this path. Like some of you could be on this same path, but enjoy working for someone else. And I would be wrong to tell you, you need to trust your heart. That's the main topic that we'll always be coming back to is how to trust your own heart. Maybe I have experience, knowledge, obsession with a certain topic. That doesn't mean I'm an authority. It means I'm talking about how you can talk to your own heart. Okay. I am not your heart. I have my heart, but the underlying truth, the thing which has created all of our hearts, the thing that beats all of our hearts, that essence is within each of us. So the truth is quite universal. It's just the form in which your truth takes. The details of that path may be totally different than mine. Again, hopefully that makes sense. If you're confused, just re-listen and do not think while listening. Just listen. You'll get insights. You'll get moments where it's like, oh, yeah, I heard him say that this many times before, but now I get what he said. So, number 3, the importance of the spiritual life being integrated into your active life. Your spiritual life is not a real spiritual life unless it's integrated into your everyday movement. Like, if you are only feeling spiritual when you meditate, there's a problem. You have to find out. And it's harder because your nervous system is sensitive. It is taking in so much information every moment. And you have to learn how to, kind of cultivate your environments with intention, choose when to say no to things, understand what are your biggest priorities. Small example would be if I don't get work done, it's hard for me to be myself in relationship to other people interpersonally. If I don't work on my business, if I don't work out, if I do not go on walks, if I don't meditate, if I don't eat healthy, it is so much harder for me to be who I am with the people whom I care about. And honestly, the people whom I care about is every single human I've ever come into contact with. I care as much as I love my mom, as much as I love my girlfriend, I love the homeless guy who I haven't spoken a word to just as much. Maybe I don't have the chance to express that to everyone. And I probably, here's something too. You can't express that to everyone. Like, that's why I have a motherfucking podcast. Because I know there are people out there who understand what I'm saying. And you'll find me. You'll find me. But ultimately, you can't just go up to people who are filled with confusion, the illusion of just being this identity, this body, and share a message of unity with them. Like some people will be ready for it, some people will be, and you won't expect it. You don't always know who's ready, who's not ready, because of physical appearances aren't everything. They're something, but they're not everything. So I digress. I mean, here's a little personal thing. I'm standing up now. I used to be sitting down. I don't know why. Like, I've had a standing desk for so long, and just recently I started using it standing again. Oh boy. See, that's like a perfect example of sometimes how life gets you. I guess I was just like content with sitting, but now that I'm standing, oh baby, this feels much better. So, let's do a quick recap. We went a little long today. That's all right. Number one, why the illusion of being just the vessel, the body and identity, was necessary for you to get to a point where you were ready to pay attention to the spirit. The heartbreak, pain, and struggle were the processes required to reveal spirit. Number two, how the spirit is the awareness observing it all. You are not your thoughts, nor your history, nor your identity. You are the awareness that is observing it all. This realization begins when you question the idea of your constructed identity. Just to put it more simply, the heartbreak, the pain, the struggle makes you question the constructed identity because sometimes you're so like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this. You have your future all planned, then something changes, it shifts your entire future. That's when the spirit starts to awaken because you have to face the fact that all your ideas of the future have been proven wrong, right? And then it shows you, oh, how much do I really know? It teaches you how to surrender to the fact that there is something grander running your destiny. Now, three, the importance of the spiritual life being integrated into your active life. While meditation and breathwork happen in isolated areas, you must expand the learning and awareness into your active life, such as moving each day in public or at work. The spiritual work must be integrated into physical reality. I would say it's not spiritual work at all if that is otherwise. Now, summary, the essence of your being is like a blank canvas. The identity is the painting, but you must remember and appreciate the canvas underneath. You cannot have a painting without the canvas underneath. Through awareness, you see that you are much more than the body and the thought. Thank you so much. I'm grateful for you. Thank you. Share it with someone if you know someone who would resonate with this. That's the only way we're really getting the message out is just real life sharing. So if you can, if you know someone, share it, please. And thank you. And check out what I got down below. I'm working on a book, actually. I'm excited to get that in your hands. It'll be available very soon. And yeah, it's on the integration of the physical and the spirit. Who would have guessed? I really feel that's the cornerstone of my message. Too much spirit, junk. Too much physical, junk. You need that integration. And that's kind of like a tidbit about what the book is going to cover. So reach out to me if you have any questions, any topics that you want me to touch in the future. And email is also in the description. Have a wonderful day. Let's go.